honestly. Not too much. There we go. We are live. Yes. What have you got there?
Very good beer. Very
good beer. Yeah, well, it's all good. It's all good beer over there in Belgium, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's all good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even the dude likes the Stella. So
yeah.
Although don't give him more than a can, otherwise he'll be 3 sheets to the wind. he can't handle his drink at all. But anyway, so good. First of all, good afternoon, gentlemen. Well, good morning, obviously, Mitch. Good afternoon, Jerome. How's it all going?
Hello.
How's it all going?
Thank you.
Hello. I'm really fine.
Good. Thank you.
Good. Fine. Very fine.
Apart from drinking beer, what have you been up
to? I drink a really good beer. It's a Belgian beer, and we have a lot of good beer in Belgium.
Indeed, yes.
And I drink for everybody. It's in Belgium we say in French santé, and in Dutch it's Proost. So.
Right.
Prost to everybody and welcome to Rally 2020 on Mr. Capaldi's channel.
Well, I tell you, Mitch, if you could just take over for the next 10 minutes and I'll nip up and get my beer, okay? No, I'm only kidding. Actually, I'm gonna abstain for the most part of this afternoon session because we've not 2.5 hours might seem long, but the girls overran by 5 minutes. So we're gonna finish more or less. Yeah, it's not a surprise. We're going to finish more or less on 4 o'clock because we've got the dude is uploading a video. So I've got obviously we're doing a virtual online rally. So I've got a few questions for you, but I'm going to first of all introduce. So we've got Jerome and Mitch, and here's a lady that we haven't had. She's trying to get on. I'll wait till she's managed to connect, but hopefully we'll get joined by Tracy Bowman shortly. It's showing up. Her box is showing up at the bottom there, but device is not connected. So hopefully we'll get that sorted out. Anyway, so first of all, what did I want to share with you? Well, let's do this one first, shall we? Or shall we? Hold on a sec. Let's look at this. I had the great pleasure of being at last year's rally in Manitowoc. The year before I was meant to go. I had intended to go, but when I found out the date, it clashed with a gig that I had, a wedding that I had to play at, and the wedding was actually for the sister of a lad who plays in the band, who I've known since he was at primary school. He was in the same classes as my daughters. So there was absolutely no chance that I could get out of that gig. Not that I wanted to, but when on the Sunday when we had. I got a few messages from Mark and the dude, and it was clear how much they were enjoying being in Manitowoc, being together, having fun, So I was determined to arrive the next year, but I noticed that the year before, and it's featured in at the very end of season 2. Episode 10, and I wanted to share something with you. Don't worry, I'm going to mute that because I don't want that. I don't want the sound of that. But I'm going to do this. Come back here and then share the screen. I wanted to show you something which I found interesting. And then I'll pose the question: who is it that we want justice for? Hopefully this will work. It's just a 5-second clip.
Waiting. I think Paul's frozen on my. He's on my end. He's frozen.
Turn around, turn around, turn around.
Oh, hi, Linda. Love you. See you in the chat.
Hi, Linda. Hi, everybody.
Normally does. Oh,
We're waiting. Paul's frozen.
yes.
No luck. No luck.
Oh, this is funny. Oh, wait a minute. Well, we got a second. Let's see if we can see my shirt here. Everybody can see my shirt?
Rest in
see here.
hell, Kratz. Yeah.
And you can see the dog taking a dump on his grave there, right there. My wife made that for the rally. So there's the shirt, everybody.
Excellent. Excellent. Tell your wife she's excellent.
I sure will. Thank you. Oh, anytime now, Paul. Oh. Hi, everybody on the chat.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Sean. Hi, Mark. Hi, everybody. Oh.
Hey, there's Mark. Hey, Mark. Oh, it's just us now. He's going to reboot.
Just us. Okay. Mitch, go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to talk about, I know I sent a video to Jane. She couldn't play it on her show, so I hope she'll load it up on the Twitter feed so everybody can see. My wife and I put a little 1-minute skit together, so I hope everybody likes it. So it turned out pretty good, I thought. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, where are you?
It involves some good props. We put in the State Avery. The Avery response again is in the skit, and then also she gives me a present here of the Detective Jacobs investigation notes in the skit. As we all know, it was he wrote nothing, so that's in the skit as well. So good stuff.
Excellent, really excellent.
Yeah,
I have the same cap of you, Wentworld.
First investigator ever to not take notes. Yeah, I do like. I was listening to Sandy when she was talking there with Jane and the bunch there, and even Sandy mentioned, everybody, if you heard, she said she still has her doubts whether Teresa is not dead, that she's still alive. And that's interesting. Even seeing her Sandy say that, because we've all talked about it. There's a possibility. It's just conspiracy theory, but we don't know.
No, we don't know for sure. We can say we can say Paul is back.
There's Paul.
It's just typical. I tried to do something, so I'm gonna try it again because I'm a determined little what's it. But let me see if I can get it to work this time. Sometimes it just crashes when you go to the screen share, but hopefully we'll be alright this time.
Don't worry.
There we go.
Answer a question real quick.
Yeah, sure.
So Cindy, it was early 2017, Cindy. Early 2017 when I got involved. Thank you.
And was that as a result of being recommended to watch it, or did you just watch it yourself? Because with me, it was a recommendation to watch Making a Murderer.
Yeah, I read about it on Google, actually. That was so good. You need to watch. And and my wife and I watched the first season one day, and we were immediately on board,
Mm-hmm.
So,
what about you, Jerome? Excellent. Jerome, were you pressured into watching it?
Me no, not at all. When it's released on Netflix during 2015 or 16. I don't remember. I have directly watch the documentary, but my first thought in the first I was thinking it was a docufiction to show how the system can be corrupt, because when I saw Fassbender and Wigert interrogate Brendan, for me it was really a child abuse on camera, and I tell to my wife, no, it's not possible. It's a docufiction to explain what can happen in this kind of situation. But no, it's real. It's reality. And after that, I was so shocked. And after I go on internet to find more information, and the rest of the story.
Absolutely. We ended up with a supporter from Belgium. And here you are. That's exactly what happens. So be careful what you wish for. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Tracy's still trying to get on. I can only suggest, Tracy, it's coming up this end that the device is not connected. So if you'd like to try again. In the meantime, let's see if this will work and we don't get crashed out. So this is just a 5-second clip that I wanted to share with you. Where's it gone? This is honestly. Let me come back to that. Because it's gone to something that I didn't want it to do that. It's gone to the wrong bit. So hold on a sec. Don't worry. It's okay. We'll get there. There we go. I thought it was in pictures, but it's not there. Okay. Not to worry. We'll close that one. We'll go to this one, and we'll go. And I'll look on Messenger. There we go. So what we will do is we will do the one that I was going to do first of all. We'll come back to that. This, as you can see, this is all highly worked out in advance. And so yes, here we go with that. My first. I think you've both seen this, and it asks a question at the end, and I would like your opinion on the end bit. So here we go. Hopefully this will work for us all. Let's go up to the top. No, and see this Bullguard keeps blocking something. I don't know what that is, but anyway, this was a little slide that I put together with some music. I'm not going to play the music because you risk crashing it even more, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, it seems to be working. It seems to be working. So this was actually inspired by this putting this slide thing together was by the fact that I made up flyers that I handed out at last year's rally. And obviously since then we've had a few new developments. So I've kind of upgraded it to this slideshow. So I wanted to run through it with you. Okay, so in fact, I think my hand can work and pull it up and down. That's good. Yeah. Okay, so some people in Wisconsin and Manitowoc in particular are unhappy that the hugely popular, and we'd have to say not just hugely popular, but probably their well, I think it is definitely their biggest and best true crime documentary that they've ever had, hasn't it? And it was the first one. You know, it's since Making a Murderer has come out, there's been a whole load of other documentaries that they've done. I think I'm up to about 26 on my list that I've seen. Anyway, it's hugely made. Are unhappy that the hugely popular Netflix documentary Making a Murderer has made them look bad. Would we be in agreement with that? That it has that there are people in Wisconsin and Manitowoc that are unhappy?
Not at all.
That it's made them look bad. What about in the other states? What's the view where you are, Mitch?
Well, I mean, as far as Wisconsin is concerned, I'll have to say before Making a Murderer, I have never heard of Manitowoc County, Wisconsin.
Me neither.
Yeah. This documentary definitely put them on the map. It's brought a lot of visitors. I know I've been reading about that. How the Averys had to make changes to the yard so people don't walk out in the yard. They got that fence line now and such.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot of unwelcome or unwarranted people visiting and such and getting in the way. So they're not liking that so much. But making and then look bad. Well, they've already got a police force there that's doing a pretty good job of it before this documentary started. So nothing new if they're feeling that way. That's my feeling on that.
Jerome?
Yeah, for me, the documentary points the dysfunction of the Manitowoc Police Department and why they did to Stephen and Brandon, but they don't talk about people in Manitowoc or people there. And I have never go to Manitowoc, but I presume, like everywhere in the world, people are really kind, and there are other people really stupid, like everywhere. Like everywhere. But no, I'm not agree at all with this thought of making a murder put Manitowoc people in a bad situation, bad shape, bad, no, not for me. It's not my feeling. I've no anger against Manitowoc people living in, or even against the Manitowoc county or sheriff department today. I have nothing against us. I have something against what happened to Stephen and Brandon, and the people acting in this strange. It's not a movie, but
it's a documentary. But
yeah, it's a documentary. But
I suppose I should maybe have put the question slightly differently. Then, do you think it's understandable that the locals are unhappy with Making a Murder?
Yeah.
Because it was suggested to me that if that situation occurred, say here in the Scottish borders, you would get a lot of people who would rally around the people that they know, their friends, possibly family. That there is going to be as I believe you call it, the circling of the wagons.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. It can be a problem for the population to see people coming in their town for a crime case and not for the town herself. So yeah, I can understand people. Some people are not happy because MAM, but we are talking we are talking about real life, real person, and I think it's sometimes hard to hear, and but yes, I think it's understandable. Yeah.
So I've got some good news. Tracy has shown up, and well, she's been here a while, but we had great difficulty trying to add you in, Tracy. So I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what was going on, but it came up that you were here, but that I couldn't click on anything to add you in. So anyway, you're here. So I'll put it the same question. I hope you caught what I was asking, Jerome. What do you think of the locals' reaction? All right.
I couldn't hear. I was having trouble with the settings on my phone to get in to the stream, so I didn't hear the question.
Okay. Let me do this then, and I'll pop it up again. Let me do this. Add that, and we'll pop up that. Some people in Wisconsin and Manitowoc in particular are unhappy that the hugely popular Netflix documentary "Making a Murderer" has made them look bad. So the question that I was putting was, is it I suppose it's fair enough that some people do feel that the documentary has made them look bad?
Well, it's made the law enforcement look bad. I don't know about the people of Manitowoc.
Yeah, but I think what you'll find is that, as I was saying, if that situation was here in the Scottish borders, and there was a documentary done in the Scottish borders, you get people who would know the sheriff, the police, people in the police department, and they would, to use the American terminology, circle the wagons.
Yes.
They would.
Yeah,
they thought in 2007 that they'd put away two very dangerous murderers, and that was it. End of story. And then, wham! What was it? 9 years later, suddenly. Sorry, you were going to say something, Jerome?
Yeah, you can see that in the Madeleine McCann case when Jerry McCann and his wife come back in UK. They are really press, not press, really pressing by the press.
Well, they're hounded. They're hounded by the press.
By the press. So yes, it's understandable, but yeah, I think so. But I don't think I really don't think AFC making a murder maybe 25 times. I don't know.
Yeah, you keep a count, do you?
Yeah.
you notch them up on the side of the telly.
It's we say the devil hide in the details. So
yes,
sometimes I rewatch to try to find something I have maybe left. I'm a little bit obsessional.
Yes, yeah, of course.
But no, I don't think Netflix and Making a Murderer had do that to people, to the population of Manitowoc. No, not at all. For me, if I go to Manitowoc, I'm not afraid to go to Manitowoc. Manitowoc is really beautiful. I see video of Manitowoc. It's like here in Belgium where I live. It's the same landscape, and it's the same, the same, almost the same thing, and. No, there is no problem for me.
Yeah, it's just that let's see if I can get this one to work. I did very early on get in touch with, because I'm quite friendly, as you know, with Charlie Berens, and the first thing I asked him, because when I first made contact with him, I made no mention whatsoever about Making a Murderer. Just the fact that I really enjoyed the Manitowoc Minute, I enjoyed the sense of humor, etc. So I made it quite clear that that I wasn't there to give him a hard time about what was being done in his name by people over there in Wisconsin. But he did say that there are people who feel that this documentary has made them look bad. So there is a certain amount of when I went across there last year, I only mentioned it to a couple of people, and I remember one shop I went to in Two Rivers, and I got my Green Bay Packers tie, and the guy was very friendly. We were telling him that we'd come to just to support the rally in support of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey, and he shut up after that. He wasn't going to sort of engage in conversation about that particular topic. Although he was still very nice and sold me the tie and everything. But it's clearly something that, as Mark says, yes, the police department have made the county look bad, but Here's what I wanted to show you.
Exactly.
That I noticed from the 2018 rally. Here's the little clip that's probably the one that's caused everything to crash. But let's see if I can get this to work. I say there's no audio. Can you see what that banner says there?
Just moved it.
Can you see what it says? Let me do this. Let me do this. She's clearly one of these people who went there to, in effect, to sort of voice her opinion against the rally. And she's put, think about Teresa and not her murderers, Steve Avery and Brendan Dassey. And what the way I feel about this,
every day of my life I think of Teresa.
Yeah. What I wrote down here though is that for us, what we want is we don't just want justice for Stephen Avery. We want justice for those who want justice for Teresa. Now,
Absolutely.
I would have loved to have been at the rally at that time and gone and spoke to that woman. And I would have asked her, as I have done. As you know, I get a certain amount of guilters that come onto the comment section, and as I've said to them consistently, I am more than happy. Occasionally, yes, I will delete comments. I had one from that idiot just stating the lies just yesterday. And she posted comments on the video I did about Captain Crunch, which were to do with the rally. So completely irrelevant. But she still posted comments which I deleted. But I had seen the gist of what, because a bit of it crops up, But no, I would like to go and speak to somebody like that supposed supporter for Teresa, who has been completely duped, and like I've said to any of these guilters, and I said this to Ken Kratz, because I said, I'll have you on my channel, but be prepared. I'm going to ask some questions which I don't think you or anybody else is going to be able to answer. Anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on, because I've got some rant over for the day. I've got. Let's go to the slides and let's pull them up one by one and go through what they say. Everything seems to be working fine now. Now that Tracy's here, you see, everything is working so much better. If you'd have been here from the start, it would have been perfect.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Looking for it.
So anyway, next one. So as I say, I do know that some people are objecting to it, and yeah, we saw that one scene where that guy was shouting at the supporters, and the supporters are shouting back, and he's shouting at them, "Don't be duped by it. You just watched a documentary." And it's like, oh, shut up, idiot. Of course we haven't just watched a documentary. There's a lot more to it than that. But anyway, I don't believe that shouting would have helped the cause. Well, that worked pretty well. So So this is part of a flyer that I put together, hoping to hand out to lots of local people. But anyway, not to worry. So interest in the plights of Teresa Holbach, Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey has grown since the documentary was first released.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is page 3. Page 4. Excellent. But if Steve and Brendan really are the cold-hearted killers that the state say they are, then there's a very simple way of proving it. And one which wouldn't even cost them, the state, anything. Simply stop procrastinating and give Kathleen Zellner all the evidence for her experts to test. And of course, that would be at zero cost to the state. Although, that's maybe that's not completely true.
No,
yeah,
but
that could.
it's brilliant.
That's maybe not completely true that it would be at zero cost to the state. I believe it would cost them. Well, the latest estimates, I would say around about the 170 million for Steve and Brendan. Anyway, let's carry on.
Well, at least.
Yes, yep, and for a lot of them, it's not so much the money; it's the fact that they'll have been proven to be the liars that they were.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, the guiltists, they try and criticize Kathleen Zellner and suggest that she doesn't know what she's doing, that she's got it all wrong, you know. And this suggestion that she's in it for the fame and the money, you know, it's bizarre. Because I mean, she seems to be a very, very wealthy person from all the wrongful convictions that she's had a commission of in the first place. I mean, you know, it's usually about 33% that the lawyer gets in terms of the settlement figure.
Yeah.
Anyway, she has always maintained that if a client is guilty, they daren't hire her, as she will find the truth. So why do they continue to deny her access to all the evidence, thus perpetuating the grief of the Holbachs? And that's what I would really like to have said to Our Lady protester, you know?
Yeah.
Why are you so adamant that Steve and Brendan are guilty? You've clearly got, for me, I would say that it's either one of two agendas. Either it's from the point of view they couldn't care less. It's the two guys that were from a scrapyard. They don't deserve the kind of justice that normal people deserve. Or for me, there's something at stake for them. That they've got some vested interest in this. I mean, who was it that sent these flowers to Sukovich? Was it Vogel's cousin?
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll carry on. Next slide. We get to the juicy bits in a minute, don't we? They gave her several items, most notably the bullet, which was discovered to have wood embedded in it. The hoodlatch swab that had 90 times more DNA on it than it should have. The key that had 20 times more DNA on it than it should. And a CD of a report on the computer, which was kept in Bobby Dassey's bedroom, but which was described by Ken Kratz as belonging to Brendan and containing nothing much of evidentiary value.
I have a question.
Yeah, well, go on you go, yeah.
If I can.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
This question
I might answer it if I know the answer, but you know, I've got others to help. So hopefully we'll cope.
This is
sorry,
a question.
Sorry, Joe. You go. Yeah. I've put you right off, haven't I? I've put you right off. Come on, Jerome. Come on, Jerome. I'm sorry. Have a sip of your beer.
I think I need new glasses.
And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Which reminds me, I should change the banner, shouldn't I? Hold on. I need to do this.
Oh, Paul, you make me laugh all the time. Like I say, you are the knight who say no.
That's right. Exactly. So there we go. Please make donations to the Dudes Dr. Pepper Fund. Yes, okay.
Oh yeah. It's really important.
Yes. And if you haven't done, in fact, do you know what? The biggest laugh was that just before the rally in 2018, we did the control question T-shirts, and we were me and Mark were humming and hawing as to whether to go with that one. Ask me about the control question. Copyright Eric OJ. But the other one that we were thinking of doing was just that. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe. Eric OJ. And that was going to be the other model of T-shirt. But
I was thinking about that.
Mark nailed it with the ask me about the control question. Anyway, so moving on. So the next.
Yeah, Paul. My question was.
Yeah. Oh.
About the research on Bobby Dassey computer. Why the FBI has no red flag on this research during the research? Because in my mind, Stephen is proceed. I don't find the word. A civil suit against Manitowoc. Okay.
Yeah.
There is federal agent there. Okay. And I don't tell Stephen was under surveillance because I have no proof of that. But in America, when you go on certain type of website, like site, you can find stuff like they find on Bobby Dassey computers. Mm-hmm. Nobody is alert. The police or the FBI or nobody is alert. You are visiting this kind of website,
mm-hmm.
And if indeed the FBI was aware of this research before Teresa before Teresa disappear, I'm asking a question. If the FBI look for Dassey, they look also for Stephen, because he made a civil suit against them. So not again the FBI, but again the Manitoba County Sheriff Department. And I'm always asking, if you made research in US in 2005 of this kind of website, nobody is alert. You can do that like this. And
well, can I sort of present a more sort of all-encompassing question, I suppose, to our other guests, and that would be this. A lot of people were puzzled why Barack Obama at the time was unable to step in and do anything. And as Jerome has just pointed out, when you've got a documentary like this, why isn't the FBI immediately jumping on this and saying we need to step in? And I think I know the answer, but I'd like to hear, well, particularly Mitch, as you're over in America, and Tracy as well. I'd like to hear your opinion on whether the FBI either should or could intervene.
Well, Tracy, go ahead, please.
Oh,
I don't know.
it's a tricky one, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you know, it's with all the attention that this has been getting, I'm surprised that there has not been an intervention from the FBI. Like Jerome was kind of saying, we always warn that Big Brother is always watching, especially when you go to those kind of questionable websites as well. Especially now they have particular task force that monitor those kinds of things with the pornography and the violent pornography and such like that. So, but yeah, that's a good question of why the FBI has not at least started taking a look at this with all the attention that it's getting. But I do not know why.
Well, I think it's because, I mean, I don't know if you know what the population of Scotland is, but it's around about 5.2, 5.3 million. Wisconsin state is bigger in terms of population and size than Scotland. It's much bigger. Well, it's certainly in size, but even in population at nearly just under 6 million. And therefore, I believe that the situation over there in America is that each state is regarded as its own little country within this collection of states. Although they're called states, it would be better to think of them as separate countries. They've all got their own separate flag and they've all got their own separate government. And so at the moment, this case is purely at state level, and neither Barack Obama or Donald Trump, who's the president now, or the FBI have any involvement. It was only that the FBI were invited with that Mark LeBeau to do the test on the, and that was at the invitation of the state. So I think unless the state were to invite the FBI to look into it, I don't think that the FBI can just go straight in there and say there's a problem, we need to fix it. I think they have to be invited in, don't they? And at the moment, I don't see there being many invites to come and have a look at our corrupt system from Josh Call and co. I just don't see that.
Do you know if Dean and Jerry was aware of that, aware of to contact the FBI to do their job?
Yes. I think that comes through in the documentary, doesn't it? That they request that they get hold of the FBI to do this test to hopefully prove what they want it to prove, and that's exactly what happens, doesn't it?
But no.
Yeah.
We don't know all answer.
Absolutely. Let's just carry on though. Let's just carry on because there's a few other things I wanted to share with you as well. And this is question number one that I would ask any guilter. If during Brendan's trial the only so-called evidence against him was his own confession, which we can talk about as well, because there's constantly new thoughts about that. I see TikTok even today tweeting about obviously that the jail calls have been released, and guess what? Not one of them suggest at any point that Brendan is admitting guilt to doing anything other than playing on a PlayStation. Anyway, so we're digressing. But during Brendan's trial, the only evidence against him was his confession. So why weren't the contents of the computer, which included sick, deranged, and obviously pornographic images, used to help prosecute him?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because thanks to the time of day that the images were searched and viewed, it proves that it wasn't Brendan's computer.
It was Bobby.
And that whoever was using the computer, and when we know that only Bobby was home, but do we know that he was the only one home at the time? We don't know. But certainly, that whoever was using the computer when Bobby was home should have been high on the list of suspects and would have achieved the Denny third-party threshold. of both the access, the means, and a motive. And of course, that's what Zellner is doing. So the state have declined to offer Kathleen Zellner any more evidence to test, most notably the car with its damaged indicator and cremains that were discovered off of the Avery salvage yard. In fact, we now know that some of those remains, which were described as being only possible human, were handed back to the Holbachs as being Teresa's, in violation of both Judge Willis's and the state statute preservation orders.
Absolutely.
It all begs the question, what are the state trying to hide? So that was my little sort of revised flyer, which, as I said, I did it last year to hand out to people. Even at the recent presentation that Jerry Buting did in Edinburgh, he picked up a copy of it and had kept it. So I was quite chuffed that he'd got a copy of it. What ladies first? What is it that the state are trying to hide?
The cover up and the planting. They couldn't let Bobby's computer go in because they needed him as a witness of Teresa going into Stephen's trailer. The bones, they were found in the quarry, but they said, it was in the burn pit where it all happened. What else was there? The car. Well,
yes.
Yeah, that's the one they won't let out. But,
well, I've also got some very disappointed news for you, and that is that I did actually invite the expert on RAV4s, Richard Boyd, to come and join me, and I was hoping that he was going to come and join us, but unfortunately he doesn't have any internet connection, so I am very sorry about that, because one thing I wanted to make absolutely clear, and that is that I feel that having followed this case for so long, you get into your various, I suppose, groups, don't you? We've got the wrecking crew, the beer. Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice.
Yeah, beauty. No argument whatsoever because I'm live on. Right, sorry. Anyway, we're digressing. I completely forgot what I was talking about, but completely escaped my mind. It'll come back to me. We were talking about obviously Bobby and stuff.
Richard Boyd.
Sorry. Oh yeah, Richard Boyd. Yes. He that was it. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. We were all in these various groups, aren't we? And invariably, believe it or not, frictions do occur within supporters because, my own personal opinion on this is because, well, obviously we feel so badly about what's happened over there in Manitowoc that sometimes we sort of take out our frustration, anger, and annoyance at what's going on. We take it out on people that maybe we shouldn't take it out on, which are fellow supporters. If for example, we don't share the same opinion, but in the same way that I would have loved to have gone to speak to those people that were getting that banner out of the car about Stephen Brendan. No matter who the supporter was, if they were at the rally at Manitowoc, you would want to go and speak with them, wouldn't you? You wouldn't ignore any supporter. So I was absolutely hoping that maybe Richard Boyd would have been able to make it on and talk about the RAV4. But anyway, it as I say, unfortunately that's not the case. And plus, I mean, even my 4 o'clock by the time we finish will only be 7 o'clock in the morning for him. So I think it might be that it was way too early as well. Yeah. So what else did I want to So yes, we need to carry on with the questions, aren't we? You know, what is it that the state is trying to hide? Mitch, would you like to give us your assessment on what it is? What on earth are they trying to hide?
Well, I read some of the chat and feed there, and I like what some people. It all goes back. It goes back to 1985.
Yeah.
You know, with the rape case. You know, as we all know, when we saw the first one there, with Stephen's lawsuit, I mean, he was within weeks.
Yes.
That's being done, and the state was just about to get a very big black eye. The corruption was going to be exposed of what they did with the rape case and the cover-up, and then boom, he gets arrested. Obviously, to keep to credit the lawsuit, and and put it in his place. So. Why they're continuing to drag this out, not let Kathleen Zellner have the evidence and such, because they know what the end game is going to be. I mean, it's going to come out. The corruption is going to be exposed. The lawsuit that's going to come from this one is going to bankrupt the entire state. And so, they're doing everything they can to avoid it. I personally think the RAV's gone. I think it's been destroyed already. That's just my personal opinion because of the delays they've been doing so much. I don't think it's in a crate anywhere. I think it's been crushed. But we'll see. The bone situation, what happened with the Hall box there. If my child had been murdered and the remains they gave back to me, they said it was now animal bones. I couldn't remain quiet. I don't believe. And have we heard one word from the Hall box? Not a word. So that comes into question. What's really going on here? So, eventually, like Sandy said, the truth will come out. It's going to take a while, but it's going to come out. And the state of Wisconsin is scared to death of the repercussions. So thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sorry. I'm going to let you chat for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to be 2 minutes, but you carry on. I'm just going to.
Did the Holbachs request the bones?
I don't believe they did.
No, they were just given back remains in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how did it come about where they gave them back?
Never heard the process there at all. It just we came across it. The armchair detectives came across it. And now we're all gone.
No.
I can only see Paul.
I see Paul. Hi, Paul.
We're back.
No. I'm trying to stop my cam. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's interesting to see if it was them or if it was, the state that decided to give them back. Because if it was the state that decided to give them back, then that's them getting rid of the evidence. Or if it was the Holbachs requesting it, that's the difference.
Yeah. Either way, it should have never happened. Who requested it or who did it, because of the order and the statute. The evidence should have whatever was there should have never been given back. I like Jerome and I were talking before. I like Sandy Greenman said in the last segment there is still a big question mark whether Teresa is really dead. And the Hallbox reactions to all this. Even look at the trial. Did you see anybody in that Hallbox family crying their brains out?
Nobody.
And just being emotional? They were all tin soldiers. Yeah,
never.
The whole thing.
Never emotional. Didn't act. I mean, you can't.
It begs the question.
Yeah, it's really bizarre the reaction of the Halbach family, because when you heard Mike Halbach talking about the grieving process, I really I really love to ask him a day what you want to talk about the grieving process could last day, weeks, months, and your sister is just disappear.
Yeah.
Why
Exactly.
you talking about a grieving process? And nobody jump on that. Nobody.
Yeah.
Always stay like that, and okay, it's okay.
Yeah. The media even.
Yeah.
And back to
Exactly.
what Paul was
It's
saying before
bizarre.
about,
Really,
yeah,
really.
and Manitowoc not, not being happy about the Making a Murderer series, maybe because they've been sold a story from the media, about how bad Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey were, and they were getting it on the news all the time. So maybe they're just convinced that they're guilty and that's it. Yeah. So
question, because that's brilliant, Jerome. You've actually went on to the in effect, the question that I was going to ask was this: if we're wanting justice for Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey, we're wanting and Teresa, and for the supporters, those who want justice. I want justice for those who want justice for Teresa. The other people that turned up with their banner. So the question is, what's preventing that? And I've got, the next question. What is preventing that, and who holds the keys to unlocking this? And Jerome, you've gone straight to it. For me, Mike Holbach. He knows. He knows. A lot of people have suggested that Karen Holbach, because of body language. I'm afraid I don't really go in for this. Try and interpret body language at the moment. I think once the truth comes out, then we can go back and we can say, aha. So that was a situation where you talked or you spoke the way you did. But I don't think we can incriminate people just on body language, because as we've seen so often, I mean, you've already mentioned that the Madeleine McCann case, the parents were regarded as, they must be guilty because they seemed uncaring. You had in Australia where the dingo carried off the dog. The dingo carried off the baby, and the woman was being castigated because she seemed to be taking it too calmly. You're damned if you don't throw a tantrum and a fit, and damned if you do, because then everybody say, oh, this is just crocodile tears, all this kind of stuff. So I don't really go by the body language stuff at all. I don't know. Do any of you think that it's really that relevant at the moment?
No, that can
brings
help,
up a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
I can't see the questions.
Go ahead, Jerome.
No, unfortunately, when you're on this on the StreamYard, there are up at the top of the screen there it should say private chat in the right hand corner. But if you've come from a phone, then it doesn't show up the chat, I'm afraid. And I don't think even if I do this. Maybe if I do that.
Oh, don't mess it up.
Then it does, but it's very small, as you can see, and it's just created this 3D effect. So I don't think we'll bother with that. but it is there on the. It is there.
I can see it. There's a button. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so my sort of question would be, well, first of all, it's obvious, isn't it? The family, they should be the last ones to accept that anything has happened to somebody in their family when they're only a missing person. So for me, the big question is, not just the idea that this grieving process could last days. But for me, the big question is grieving about what?
Yeah.
What is it that Mike Holbach is grieving about?
Good question.
Absolutely. Good question.
Yeah. At that time, she was just missing at that time, if I remember correctly. And they're talking about death, and they were just looking for her. That's it.
Oh, I mean, it's absolutely it's while she's just missing, because then he carries on, having realised the slip up that he's made. He then carries on by saying, and hopefully with Teresa still in our lives. So it was clearly, and as you've pointed out, it beggars belief that the press didn't immediately pick up on that and say, you need to look at this. This is seriously flawed. Tracy, I forgot to ask, and in fact, I forgot. I slipped up at the start when I was introducing everybody to ask where everybody is from. So sorry, apologies. Jerome, whereabouts are you from?
Belgium.
Mitch?
Ohio, USA.
Ohio. And Tracy?
Durham, England.
Durham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great part of the world. I've been down there a few times. I once stayed. We stayed for a few days in Durham. Met up with my mum, and we stayed at a hotel called the Honest Lawyer Hotel. And I sent the picture to Steve Drizin, and he said, "I bet that's not kept very busy." No. If that was in America, it would not be a busy place. Was what he replied with. Yeah.
No. Out of business already.
That's 5 miles from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the cathedral. We went up obviously to see the cathedral, and we did all that, and I've actually had a couple of gigs in Durham since at various venues, including the boating club in Durham, which was great fun. Yeah.
Yes, I think.
So can you remember the Soham murders? Can you remember the Soham, Ian Huntley and Maxine Carr?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Can you remember how that case was solved?
No.
Because Maxine Carr gave an interview to a Sky reporter, and she read out a card that she had been given just before the end of term. Now, it was Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman, and I don't know which of the two girls it was the card from, but she read it out, and she said, that they were looking forward to going into next year, and they hoped that she was going to get the job that she was going for. I think it was to be kept on, because at the moment she was like a trial teacher. And at the end of the interview, she said she was a nice girl. And it was that use of the past tense, she was a nice girl. That
exactly like Mike.
The producers of the news immediately said, "Did you hear what she just said?
Red flag."
Yeah. Well, to begin with, they then alerted the police. That then solved the case. So my two questions would be to any guilty that ever wanted to come on and talk, okay, about us running a rally for the benefit of Stephen Brendan and shouting about, this, all you have to do is answer these two very simple questions. Why was the contents of Brendan's computer not used against him at trial? And what on earth was Mike Holbach talking about? But going on to this question of what is it that he was actually referring to when he refers to the grieving process? Could it be the fact that Teresa is being relocated to a different state or a different country? We don't know that, do we?
No.
No, we don't.
That's what I find. That's what I find very, very odd. Is it a case of he's grieving because he knows that she's going to be, okay, she's fine, but I'm not going to see her very much from now on? Or could it be that, he knows of her demise, but can't see anything until the bones are officially found on Tuesday the 8th? That's
what I think.
You think so? You think he simply knows? He's been told, we're really sorry, because apparently Karen Holbach thought that initially that Teresa had been involved in a car accident. That was her her thought, which is kind of strange, isn't it? Another thing it's always puzzled me, this business of who deleted the voicemails. Do we think it's Ryan or Mike or both?
For me, it's Mike.
Right.
You think Mike, yeah? You're going with Mike.
Ryan, I think.
I'm open.
You're
All
thinking
the above.
Ryan, yeah? Yeah. Possibly the pair of them together. They do seem to be very, very keen to. And the other thing that puzzles me is why wait then till the trial in 2007? That to then say to Willis, Pratt says about the deleted, it's something we could have done, Judge. That just seemed really bizarre to me. Well, if that's something that could be done, why was it not done? Surely that's finding out who, what was, I don't suppose you can find out what was on those messages. I don't suppose there's any way of getting them, but surely finding out who deleted them and what was on, finding out from them what was on those messages. It just seems very, very bizarre.
Do you remember the reaction of Kratz when Judge Fox or Willis, I don't remember, asked
Willis.
him the question? Willis asked him, do you know?
It's something we could have done. It's something else we could do, Judge. Something else we could have done. Yeah, it's like nearly 2 years later. No, well, a year and a half later, isn't it? Nearly a year and a half later. But what?
And he don't answer to the question. He say, if Mr. Buting won't change his story, blah 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 blah. No, he don't answer to the question, so we don't know.
Yeah, he was saying if he thought that she was still alive 2 days later or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, because it was going against the narrative of on the 31st and that was it, then it didn't matter about the deleted voicemails after that.
Yeah, but you can see he was really embarrassing by this question, because I think he knows something too, but I don't know what, but he knows something. Kratz knows something.
Oh, definitely.
Sure he does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was very much a case.
Can I throw something in here?
Oh, sure. Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Also, I was going to say something I tweeted about in the last couple of weeks. My wife actually brought this up.
Yeah.
When somebody dies, a citizen of the United States dies, they go on a death list with the Social Security company.
Right.
In the United States, and if you look at the list, Teresa Halbach is not on the death list.
Wow.
For the Social Security company. Yeah. So just a thought. Yeah, if you look it up, she's not there. She should be if she's dead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So who records that? Who records that? Like a death certificate would go into the system and then that would take her off or put her on the death list.
Yeah, that should. I don't know who the person who's actually in charge for is it the funeral home is or the or whatever. But I just know that when you pass away here in the United States, you're on that list. It's everybody's there. So if we were to question them, they would say, "Oh, we just made a mistake." Add it to the list of their list of mistakes. Which is endless. But she's not on it though.
Is that like our national insurance number, Paul?
Well, I can imagine it would be because for me, my national insurance number is something I've got off by heart in my mind. Because you use it all the time. It's the bit that you're sort of identified by, isn't it? But, That's yeah. It just hammers, if you forgive the pun, more and more nails into the coffin of the theory that Teresa actually met her demise and is in fact we know for a fact that she loved to travel, didn't she? She was somebody that looked forward to going to foreign countries. So who knows where she is? When it came to the sentencing of Brendan Dassey, here's another thing that Mike Holbach pointed out, which I thought was very bizarre, and that was the fact that he is, obviously Brendan Dassey has been found guilty of this, terrible attack on Teresa Holbach, all this stabbing and, throat cutting and shooting and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's very juvenile, Jerome, but it's what we've come to expect. and so anyway, totally unperturbed, Mr. Langwell. The fact that what do we make of Mike Holbach saying Brendan should have taken the plea deal? I mean, what does that tell us about the fact that, on the one hand, Mike Holbach believes that, or supposedly believes that Brendan is this cold-hearted, terrible murderer, but then suggesting that he take a plea deal. I mean, presumably, if you're sentenced to 20 years, then you can be let out for good behaviour. You can get paroled earlier. So I mean, if Mike Holbach really did think that Brendan was this deranged murderer, chances are Brendan would either be out or would be coming up shortly for parole. Absolutely. So why is he advocating that he should have done that, and therefore he would be out on the streets? Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
Did he, as part of the plea deal, did he have to go against Stephen?
Oh yeah, he had to testify against Stephen. That's right.
Yeah. As part of the plea deal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Yes, it's one of the problems. Obviously, you've got the plea deal over there, which is not something that they have in many other countries. They also don't have, for example, something that Jerry pointed out, that America is the only English-speaking country in the world where detectives are permitted to lie to people during interviews, or as they call it, to fake or to what's the word that was used by Judge Khan and Hamilton with law and not. No, there was a special word which made it sound as if it wasn't really that bad a thing. It'll come to me. But the only place where they're allowed to not fake isn't the right word. It'll come to me. Yeah, everybody's having a guess at that. Deceive? No, it wasn't fabricate. The word was. No, it'll come to me. Don't worry. Sorry. Let's. Oh, where's Tracy gone? Lost mic. Lost camera. But she's stopped the mic. So hopefully, it's bluff. That was the word.
She is.
That's the word I was looking for. Q. Bluff. They're allowed to bluff.
Come back.
Yeah, hello there. They are allowed.
Love it, Mark.
Yeah. So well, anyway. What I wanted to get on to next, and we'll ask this question to Tracy when she gets back. Jerome.
Yep.
Are you familiar? Where have I written it down? Yeah, I wrote down this saying. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Why should we, in countries outside of America, and even, sorry, you're in Ohio, Mitch?
Yes, Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
You know, why even in Hawaii, Ohio?
Oh,
You know,
Ohio.
Hawaii? What, you know, why should we take an interest in what's going on in Wisconsin? You know, why not go with this line of it's not my circus, it's not my monkeys, and just leave them to get on with it? You know,
It's sad, but it could happen anywhere. You know, and it's happening a lot here in the States, as we're all seeing now with these other cases that are popping up that are getting attention now, thanks to Making a Murderer. That the corruption in the judicial system here in the United States. I like what you said, Paul, there about in the United States here, cops can lie to get what they want out of suspects here. But if a suspect lies to the cops, they can get in trouble. That can be a charge over here in the United States, which is it's amazing. They can lie, but the suspect can't. So it's just very sad that can happen that way. So, but I just think why are we paying attention to this? Because it could happen at our own back door. It could happen to us. I mean, you got two innocent people rotting in prison now for something they did not do. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen to you.
Absolutely.
We're not immune.
Yeah. Okay. This is well, let me see if I can get that one to come up. Thoughts, Jerome?
Yes, I agree, Sherry. We live all on every road. Yeah. For me, it's same answer as Mitch, but with additional things. I live in Belgium, and in Belgium we have during the 90s, in 94, a big case here with child abuse, Marc Dutroux, the Marc Dutroux case.
Yes.
And I was a teenager at the time. I was 15. And I was living to the same city of this guy.
Yeah.
And I talk about that for Brandon, because when I see for the first time Making a Murderer, I see two guys, and not only Wigert and Fassbender, or also O'Kelly, also Kaczynski, and other people treating Brandon like a child, but it was a child abuse. In Belgium, we can call that child abuse. What they told to Brandon, and it's really shocked me a lot, really a lot, because I was not aware of the situation in America about juvenile, and I was not aware of the cops system of interrogation. You know what I mean? And for Stephen was also taken by and broken by the system one time for nothing, and the second time is the same thing. The story start again, and my thought is Manitowoc Sheriff Department never wants to Stephen go out of jail when they have received the proof of this. Was not Stephen, the No, I can. The guy who, excuse me, but my level in English is not
perpetrator.
perpetrator.
Perpetrator,
Yeah. Gregory Allen.
Yeah,
yeah.
Gregory Allen. I think they were so pissed off of what they did at the time, but they don't think 1 second about MAM, all the world watching MAM and see the situation there in Manitowoc. And at the time, I think they don't care because they don't think about that. And now, today, the entire world is aware of the situation there in Manitowoc. And I think there is maybe 20 million people we believe Stephen and Brendan are innocent and Teresa deserves justice. She's indeed dead. I have not seen.
Sorry, Jerome. Carry on. You were saying. Because once we've sorted out this minor issue of the wrongful conviction of Stephen Brendan, I will be wanting to discuss thoroughly now this accusation, scurrilous accusation that Captain Crunch is British, and I will be asking for your opinions on this even worse crime.
I don't know. I have my source, and I think the mother of Captain Crunch was French, but I'm not sure.
Well, we discovered it was a Pamela Love. Anyway, sorry. Let's not digress. First of all, same question to Tracy. You missed the question. It is a famous. Here's a famous Polish proverb: "Not my circus, not my monkeys." Why should we in any, like, not just if you live in another state in America or elsewhere in the world, any country in the world, why should we take an interest in what's going on in Wisconsin?
Well, it's just the injustice of it anywhere in the world. But when I watched Mom, I couldn't believe it. And then went on to online, what's happening? Surely they're not still in prison. Yep. That's what I think. It's if you like justice and the truth, it doesn't matter where you live. In the world.
I must admit, for me, my reaction to it was somewhat different to a lot of other people's. I was listening to the end of Mark's chat particularly with Stacey, of course, and Stacey was saying that by Christmas he'd watched the documentary when it first came out, and by Christmas he looked up to see if they were still locked up, thinking, oh, they must be out by now, surely, and couldn't believe it, and then went on to Reddit groups, eventually discovered the Facebook pages. I didn't discover, I'll tell you, I actually discovered the Facebook pages by a most bizarre way, and I'll explain what that was. My initial reaction to Making a Murderer was that I knew, because my daughter asked me, she said, have you ever heard of a place called Manitowoc? And I said, no. She said, well, it's in Wisconsin. I said, well, I do know one thing about Wisconsin. They have a very, very good football team, and they had a very, very good quarterback in Brett Favre, who, I remember watching him in the 90s and Green Bay Packers winning. And I've actually been a fan of the Green Bay Packers ever since. And they've actually got probably the biggest following of any American football team in the UK. That the UK supporters do like the Green Bay Packers. They don't like the likes of your New England Patriots, because I don't think anybody in America does, unless you live in Boston. Is that right? Unless you live in Massachusetts, I don't think you're a particularly big fan of the Patriots, are you? So, but she then said, would police officers deliberately frame somebody And I said, well, no. I said, and this is interesting because there was another. I saw some other bits of conversation earlier, and it's like that. I was aware that wrongful convictions do occur, but purely by accident, by the freak accident of somebody being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and police officers doing a really good investigation, doing their genuine best to try and get the right result, and it turns out they were wrong. But which is forgivable. But then when it was revealed that no, that wasn't the case at all, that's what annoyed me. And what particularly annoyed me was when we had the situation with the sheriff's department. I couldn't believe that the sheriffs were making such a bad job of making the whole police department look bad. Now, I've just had my doorbell go, so I'm going to go and see what that is. I'll just be one moment, okay? If you'd like to just carry on, Jerome, and ask a few questions. It's typical, isn't it? When you're in the middle of doing something. But let me just go and see what.
I wonder what that noise was.
That's okay. I wonder where that came from. Nice hat, Jerome.
Hi, Wayne.
Oh. Party on, party on.
Party on. When's world, party time.
Yeah, party on. Oh, God. Oh, Jerome, Diane's gonna love you. She loves those movies too. So she's gonna love you when she's wearing the hat. Oh my gosh. So. Oh my God.
Wait,
go ahead.
What's the 85 case? Oh, he's back. Oh, he's not.
I am.
He was. He wasn't. Now he was.
I am.
It's Paul. It's Paul.
Oh, you're there. Okay.
I am. You wouldn't believe it. It was Eunice forgot her key. No, it wasn't. I've just seen that in the chat. Forgotten her key. No, it wasn't that at all. It was somebody delivering plants. Somebody delivering plants for the garden. I mean, I don't know. Are any of you keen gardeners? I know it's
no.
subject. Gardening, Jerome. Gardening of interest to you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. I have a garden.
We'll kick
I
him
really
out,
like.
Let's just kick him out.
I really like my garden. Yeah, I like working my garden.
Let's sort him out. There we go. Muted. Honestly, it won't click back on again. Sorry about that, Jerome.
I don't like gardening.
Tracy, do you like gardening?
No. But I've got one, but mine's sinking at the minute. I've got a bit of a problem with the garden.
Yeah, we've got a garden, obviously, because Eunice has ordered more flowers that she's going to plant in plant pots. But my ideal garden would be a window box tarmac. That would be my ideal. So have you got a big garden, Jerome? Does it not keep you busy? I'm still muted.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. Okay, so as I was explaining before, I was rudely interrupted. I must admit, I confess, I am expecting a new keyboard to arrive sometime soon. So I was when the doorbell went off, that could be good.
His English is fair.
Plants, Lincoln pot plants. Anyway,
it's the way it's rolled, though.
I know. So yes, I immediately, as soon as I didn't even bother to watch Making a Murderer when my daughter told me about it. It wasn't something that was of any interest to me. I thought, end of conversation. She asked me. I gave her my honest opinion. No, police do not frame people for the simple reason that they get caught out. If they get caught out, it's going to be huge problems for them if they get caught out. And why would they? What would be the advantage of framing somebody, you know? And so eventually she came back, because she was in Glasgow. She came back in March, it was, and sat us down and basically, you know, sort of took control of the remote control and said, "You're watching this, you know, the Zap, you know, no questions asked." You know, we had to sit and watch it, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. And you know what? I was so naive. As we're getting towards the middle of the series, I can see that, you know, that things are getting pretty desperate for Steve and Brendan, and I'm just waiting for the outcome to be good, you know, for obviously for the whole story to come out. And by the time it got to episode 10, I'm thinking, this ain't going to have a happy ending. But I genuinely thought that there would be a conclusion to it, you know.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, as I say, but when I watched it, I couldn't believe what the Manitou Sheriff's Office Department had done. So my first, the first thing I did was I looked up Sheriff's Department of Manitou phone number, and I phoned Robert Herman.
Yeah, you told to Herman directly. Yeah,
series of like a dozen conversations with him, you know, which was quite bizarre. And it was actually Sheriff Herman, bless him, who alerted me to the fact that there were all these Facebook support groups I would have not known about. I was not even on Facebook. And it was only thanks to Sheriff Herman that I discovered all the support groups that have.
And Paul, what is your thought about Herman?
What is
your thought about Sheriff Herman?
Oh, what did we talk about?
Yeah.
Various things to do with the case, obviously. It was always very pleasant. I must point out, I had emailed him 24 times before that in 24 days. So he was aware of me. And on the 24th one, I said, "This is my 24th email, and I've not yet received a reply." To which he replied with, "I did send you an email when you first got in touch with me. Here is the reply I sent you." And I wasn't satisfied with that, because it was the typical response. You've simply watched the documentary, which was very one-sided. And you know, we are 100%. We have 100% faith and belief in the actual convictions. You know. To which I said, "Well, you know, this making a murder thing, you know, it's shown up a fair few things, you know, like, you know, point number one, you should have been nowhere near, your department should have been nowhere near that investigation." And I always remember that he once said to me, he said to me, we were arguing, we'd argued about the fingerprints. I said, "Look, there was this blood supposedly found in the RAV that belonged to Steve." I said, "But there wasn't a single fingerprint of Steve, either inside or outside the vehicle. You know, exactly. How can somebody be dripping blood and not leave some other, you know, like I said, a fingerprint, you know?" And he said, "Oh, well, you know," he said, "you don't always get fingerprints off cars because there's not always flat surfaces." And I'm like, nonsense. There's glass. There's the body panels. You know, if he's put Teresa in the back of the car, he would have been handling and driven it to the other side of the, to the yard. He would have left a lot of fingerprint on the vehicle, and also, you know, if you're suggesting that, you know, maybe he thought to wipe fingerprints. Well, why didn't he think to wipe the blood? You know? So anyway, so we had a bit of an argument.
Yeah, this is no sense.
And then DNA. And then we got on to the big question. And then he said to me, I said, "But you had your detectives, Lenk and Colburn, go into there were 7 searches done of that tiny caravan. Here in the UK, we call that a static caravan. It's the sort of thing that people go on holiday on the coast in. It's a small caravan.
Yeah, in Belgium.
It doesn't get towed. It gets taken to and from places on a transporter. It's got tiny little wheels, and then they just leave it there. And I said, 7 searches. And he said to me, well, I know you're not going to believe this, but some of those searches were just 10-minute sweeps. And I said, Robert, I can tell by the embarrassment in your voice that you are just regurgitating the rhetoric that you've been told to regurgitate on this, to the extent whereby you're actually starting to think that it's true. And I just said, no, pal, you're not having that. That is clearly not on. No, another thing that was very interesting when I first spoke to him was that he came out. He volunteered a very interesting piece of information which I was not aware of, and that was that Andy Colburn and Sheriff Robert Herman, they actually both ran for sheriff in 2006. Robert Herman got 16,000 votes and Andy Colburn got 10,000 votes. And he said to me, even before he'd explained about the fact that they'd ran for election as sheriff, he said, I don't have a problem with Andy. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so I didn't say that you did have a problem, Andy. And he said, well, with the election, I don't have a problem with him. And I knew straight away he's letting slip stuff that he shouldn't be letting slip. Clearly, he has a problem, but anyway, it was good fun speaking to him. I wish I could have pretended to have been more on the fence, as it were, in regards to believing guilt or innocence, and I would have maybe have got more information out of him. But sadly, me and him parted ways. I think actually in what actually happened was that they brought in somebody specifically to act as his sort of personal, not just secretary, but keep an eye on what he was actually saying and doing. So that he wasn't letting anything slip. I think that's what happened.
Had he watched the documentary?
Oh yeah, like I said, I watched it, and it was my daughter that insisted that I watched it.
Had Robert Herman watched it?
So by the time I got in touch with him, this was in April of 16. Of course, he very famously, and I did put this to him, and teased him about it, the fact that, what on earth are you on about? You criticized the way that the other people have done. You've criticized Making a Murderer when you hadn't even watched it yourself. That suggests to people who are being, to use the latest term, disingenuous, but they're basically lying when they come up with stuff like that. Or I wouldn't bother watching it. It's not, you might want to watch it for entertainment value, but it's one-sided. And then he was asked, well, have you watched it? No. And it reminds us, doesn't it, of Mike Holbach, when they say to him about the fact that he says, just pop the DVD or the video of Brendan's confession into your video player, and there you have it, the case against Stephen Brendan. And bless her, it was actually Emily Matasic that said, well, have you seen it?
No.
And the look on Emily's face said it all. That was a peach, wasn't it? When she couldn't believe that this guy was standing there giving this press conference about this. Well, I suppose it does. You do understand why they would do it, because
sometimes it's really bizarre when Mike said, we really love the police.
Yeah.
Well.
I like pizza, but I don't made a press conference to tell that. Yeah. Why you talk about that? Why you?
When she talked about it's questionable if Teresa's really dead, and she said it.
I don't understand why he is all the time on the same side. You know what I mean? It, this is his sister, and his sister is obviously dead. If I'm Mike Albach, I don't act at all like he acts in the documentary. I I don't I really don't understand this guy. I really don't understand, and I don't understand even the families, because this is their dog, their doctor, their sister, and they don't want. I know, even we find the real killer, nothing can remind make Teresa come back. I know, but she deserves justice. She deserves we find the real killer, because or killers, uh, and and the family don't care about that. They don't want to know the truth. Why? I can understand why. I can.
Well,
I
you can if they're complicit in it, can't you? You can understand why. That would be one explanation, isn't it? You know, and who knows? Maybe they were given incentives to, to look at it from the point of view that we've got the guy that we want, and let's just leave it at that. And let's be honest. I mean, did Manitrock Sheriff's Department ever dream in their worst nightmares that making a murderer was going to come out? I don't think
absolutely.
so. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they didn't expect that.
No,
No.
never. This is the most tragic thing for Manitoba.
Yeah. So I was wanting to move on to some other things, because this is, as you know, this is a justice rally. This is to do with finding justice, not just for Teresa and Steve and Brendan, but also for others. So I thought what we could do first of all is go through. I know a lot of people like doing this one. Let's see if I can find it. Basically, I've called it the documentaries that will change the U.S. legal system. Okay, so basically, since obviously Making a Murderer came out, I've watched at least 24 documentaries on Netflix, and also another 5 or so not on Netflix. And I just wanted your thoughts on the various other cases. One that's very close, obviously, to thoughts about Brendan is The Staircase, where Mike Peterson took the Alford plea. I would just like to ask the guests: have you watched The Staircase, and B, what your thoughts were on it? Tracy first.
Bizarre.
Yeah,
it's a while ago since I watched that one.
Yeah,
I watched it. Yeah, but it's a few years ago now, so I can't really remember much about that one. But I haven't watched that one over and over like Ma'am.
Yeah. Mitch, the Alford plea. I can't think of anywhere else where
I haven't seen that one. I'm sorry, I missed that. I haven't watched that one yet, so I have no comment.
Well, it's just that from the point of view of this Alford plea, there have been suggestions that at some point in the future, if one was offered, that Brendan should take such a plea deal. The Alford plea. Jerome, have you had a chance to watch The Staircase?
Yes.
Thoughts?
Oh, it's a huge case. It's a huge case with bizarre things. Yeah, and my thoughts about the case himself, or about Michael Peterson, or
Well, I'll tell you who you could talk about for ages because he's absolutely brilliant. Is David Rudolph.
Yeah, absolutely.
And honestly, if you get the chance to ever go and see David Rudolph, I would say he's a very close second in his presentations to Jerry Buting. And I had the pleasure of seeing the pair of them in Amsterdam. And some of the footage that David Rudolph has got, particularly to do with his expert witness, Sami Shabani. You have to, if you're not familiar with this, check it out. I've got a clip on my channel of Sami Shabani and his experiment on putting women's heads down toilets. I kid you not. And this was his idea of a scientific experiment to see whether it was possible for somebody to commit suicide by putting their head down a toilet. Anyway, let's move on. Time, the Kaleif Browder story. Has anybody seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I watched it after you mentioned it. I watched it. Oh, so sad. I was crying nearly all the time watching that.
Yeah.
Really
Did you
sad.
see the parallels between Steve and Kaleif? That determination that if they didn't do anything wrong,
Yes.
I ain't giving up, you know.
But I also thought about Brendan in the same situation.
Yeah.
Because they were similar age, you know.
Yes.
16.
Oh, absolutely. 16 years old, yes.
Yeah. And Brendan just wouldn't have been able to cope with that at all.
No.
It was horrific what they did to them in that Rikers Island. Is it closed?
No, it's Rikers Island is still open, isn't it, Mitch? It's that notorious jail. Because was that not where?
Oh yeah.
Weinstein,
you know, Epstein, where they were threatening that he might end up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were threatening. He didn't get there, but yeah, you know, that's another thing we'll talk about another time about him. But yeah, he wasn't there yet.
He wasn't even convicted though, was he, Kaleif? He was just waiting for trial for 3 years.
No, that's right. And then in the end, they dropped the case, but they kept him waiting so long, didn't they? They kept him waiting for this trial. Now, yes, if you haven't done the so please hit subscribe. Now, what we want the French of that, Joe, and also I want to know what is the French term for as in the guy in the thrift shop song. What is the French for a cold ass honky? That's what we want to know. That's what we need. Anyway, this is the link that the dude has put up to show that in between us and America, in the hour gap, there is an extra little item that myself, the dude, Jane Sharp and the pencil, and Linda Kay put together. So what somebody has put a question is, who is Mastermind? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. Basically, we did it along the lines of the dude was the host. He was the question master. He was the Magnus Magnusson. And it was me versus the two girls. So who do you think came out on top? You can. It won't be long. It won't be long before you can all find out.
Anyway,
it was against Jane and Linda, as I say. Let's get rid of that one because that's scratching up the screen too much. So let's get back to my list. So we were on about the various cases that we've come across. How to fix a drug scandal. And any thoughts on that one? Did anybody watch it? Any thoughts on it?
Nope.
Didn't watch it. No.
No.
Was that the one? Oh, was that the one with the lab techs who were?
Yeah.
Yes, I was getting mixed up with the pharmacist there. Yes.
Yes, that was another interesting one, the pharmacist. But for me, I absolutely cheered when I discovered so many people in Massachusetts had their case just thrown out, because that's exactly what should have happened. As soon as Kratz did his press conference, the judge just said, "We're not going to put up with that. You cannot go doing a press conference like that."
Absolutely.
That certainly wouldn't happen in this country, would it? As in the UK. I doubt whether it would in Belgium either, would it, Jerome?
No, I never see this documentary. No.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you haven't seen it?
Okay.
Mitch, have you seen it? Have you had the chance to see it? Nah. Oh, honestly. Well,
no, I have not. I guess I'm missing out quite a bit here.
No.
It's on Netflix? It's on Netflix?
Yeah, these all on Netflix. Okay. What we'll do, I'll go through the whole list, and you can tell me if you've seen them or you haven't. Obviously, Making a Murder, obviously Staircase. Okay. Third on my list, anybody seen The Confession Killer?
Yeah.
About Henry Lee Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thoughts on that one? What about Vic Feazell, the attorney that went against the Texas Rangers? I mean, he must be a rarity. I mean, they should preserve him and stick him in a museum. An honest. He's somebody that would be accepted at the Honest Lawyer Hotel, wouldn't he? He would definitely be allowed in there. Yeah. Time, the Kaleif Browder story, How to Fix a Drug Scandal, all the confession tapes.
Yes.
What about that David Kofed?
Yeah.
How good was that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Can you have one called The Innocent Man?
I haven't watched that.
Yes.
You've seen that one?
Oh, what I've seen, Innocent Man, yes, well, the Tommy Ward case, the Carl Fontaine, that one I knew pretty well. I knew that one pretty well, actually.
John
I correspond quite a bit with that. Yes, Innocent Man. I correspond quite a bit with AC Shelton. AC Shelton, who was in that documentary. I talked to her quite a bit. Yeah.
I reached out to her and I said, "Look, when you do your book, would you come on my channel?" And she said, "I'm nowhere near getting my book done. But when she gets her book done, tell her to come on." Because I did get in touch with AC.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah, she's great. But that's a very sad case. I know Carl Fontaine's out and waiting for Tommy Ward to get released too.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's going to happen soon too. Carl got out in December.
Yeah, with Tommy Ward. Yeah, I've seen I've seen the documentary. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
No. Yeah. Okay. What about the Dream Killer?
Yes. No. Yes.
Well, that I would say is definitely a must watch, because you get to see Kathleen Zellner throughout the whole of, or virtually throughout the whole of Dream Killer. You have seen it?
Yes. Yeah, I saw it.
Ryan Ferguson case. Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And the parallels with the way that the legal system, once again, they try and circle. I mean, they're out here in Utah. They're busy circling the wagons, aren't they? Okay. Now, I did watch The Keepers, but I found it a bit bizarre. The Keepers, it was to do with the nun that was murdered and the lack of investigation into it. Yeah. Exhibit A.
Yep, watch that one.
Anybody watched Exhibit A?
No.
You remember there was that dude that was 6'3".
Remember what is it about?
Exhibit A, it's to do with false evidence against people. There was the first case was the guy that was the musician, the rapper musician, who was 6'3". And this video expert claimed that it was the same guy that walked out the door because of the angle of the camera and the way he walked, that this 6'3" person could be 5'10" or 5'4" or whatever it was. It was just ridiculous, Nonsense. When they see us, Central Park 5.
Yes, seen that.
Yes, Central Park 5, Jerome.
Yep.
No.
You've never seen the Central Park 5?
Yes.
No.
It's the one on Netflix. It's like a docudrama where they put actors in to play the parts, because Obviously, the people involved have been out a long time. In fact,
But I don't know if you know, but in Belgium, on Netflix, in
you don't
France,
get everything.
we don't have the same programmation of.
I think it's the same here. Yeah, I remember.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't have this one.
Yeah, I remember when Ken Kratz was going on about murder in the park. You remember when Ken Kratz did his couple of wee videos on YouTube? Can you remember that when Ken Kratz had a couple of videos on YouTube about the case? It was just before his book came out. It was kind of like a book promotion. And if you look carefully, somebody realised that if you have the brightness full up, really full up, when the screen goes black, as it does occasionally, there's these pictures of, well, it turns out of the guy Anthony Porter, who was from the film Murder in the Park. That's one that I have not watched on Netflix because I couldn't get it. But Ken Kratz was saying, yes, it's out on Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix. No, you can't in certain parts of the world, because that was the other sort of main sort of documentary that the Sean Reck. Character Sean Reck did. Okay, moving on then. Exhibit A, when this is the pharmacist. I think you just mentioned. Who was it just mentioned? The pharmacist.
Me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tracy did.
Yes.
Yeah. That was me.
Tracy wants, Jane wants a link to jump in and say hello, so we will completely ignore that one. We better not. Yes, Jane, I'll send you a link in a wee while. Let us get to the. We need to get to the crunch of this situation, though, don't we? We really need to get to the crunch of what we've been talking about here. The pharmacist, Wild Country. Anybody see Wild Country?
What?
No.
Wild Country.
Well, yeah. I think it is a no.
No, you're not that one. Okay, that's quite a good one. It's to do with the these followers of an Indian fellow who buys up this land somewhere.
It was earlier too.
Yeah, it's well worth a look at. As I say, Wild Country.
Or you call that
Wild Country. It's on Netflix. And then you've got the Don't F with Cats.
Oh
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. I like the way that the people on Facebook got together and actually tracked what was his name? Luca
Magnotta.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So that was Don't F with Cats.
Arrest at Paris.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Was it
right.
Paris or was it Berlin?
No, Paris.
Was it?
Yeah. I remember really well the case because it was at my time, and it was horrible, just horrible. This guy is pure evil.
Well, he the kind of character that that narcissistic reminds us of Ken Kratz, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody watched Murder Mountain?
No.
Murder Mountain. That's a good one. The Tiger King. I didn't think much to that. We'll move on from that one. I didn't think much to that one. No, has anybody watched the Tiger King?
Not much. Not much.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at first.
I just don't.
I didn't like it. But I thought, well, I'll keep watching it just to see what all the fuss is about. And I think poor Joe, he didn't realise that it wasn't going to be about him getting out of prison, but about getting Don Lewis found and getting Carol for the murder.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on a sec. An easy way of getting her in is to do this. If I add her to the chat group.
Me, I'm really interested to share the story of the story because it's really interesting, and I will when I have time, I will.
What I'm going to do is when we finish, I'm going to put in the description. I'm going to put it in the whole list of the 24 documentaries and the 5 not on Netflix. That if you do get a chance to watch,
Thank you, Paul.
Moving
Thank
on,
you, my leech.
You're welcome. The People versus OJ Simpson.
Yeah,
Mitch, you must have watched that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I watched the original trial.
Wow.
I was glued on it back in the mid '90s.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't watched that.
That was a big one.
And your thoughts? Your thoughts on the
Guilty as sin.
like?
Hello.
Yeah.
That OJ was guilty as sin. Hello.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. If you wanted to see what blood in a car should look like,
watch the Bronco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. White Bronco time.
anybody watched the documentary Who Killed Malcolm X?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched how many? I've watched a few of them, but not all of them.
Well worth it. When you get to the end, the guy that's pursuing the case, that's in effect the expert on it, Raheem Mohammed, I think his name is. And what you'll particularly like about it is the fact that he then starts talking about conviction integrity units.
Oh,
which,
right.
of course,
Okay.
you know, hugely important. It was already mentioned in the text in the chat earlier, the trials of Gabriel Fernandez, which were, particularly horrific.
Yes.
Yeah.
But of course, wasn't it bizarre how all these, like nobody sort of said anything against the quote parents, or nobody in the system really was looking out for him. That was kind of bad.
That was horrific. That. Yeah.
Bad in the same way that Brendan has been so badly treated, just assuming that everybody's doing the right job when in fact they're not. 13th. Anybody watch 13th? It's literally about the 13th Amendment.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. I will see, but not yet.
Okay, I'll put the link below. Unbelievable.
No.
No.
Yes.
Good one.
Which one?
Yes, about the girl who was not believed
Yes.
as having been attacked. Yeah. Very good one.
Yes.
Okay. The Innocence Files.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, of course, that's been hugely interesting to me. I've actually read the whole book by Radley Belko and Tucker Carrington, the Cadaver King and the Country Dentist, and it's been bizarre stuff. Carrying on then, Murder to Mercy was the girl, Cyntoia Brown. Cyntoia Brown, was it Cyntoia Brown? No. Okay. And obviously, I've just recently watched Epstein. Pretty bizarre stuff.
Yep.
I think that they should do a deal. The US and the UK do a deal. We'll give you Prince Andrew. You give us Anne Secoulis, the woman that mowed down the Harry Dunn outside the airbase because she was driving on the wrong side of the road, of course, But then she just invoked diplomatic immunity and just flew out the UK and nobody stopped her. It was bizarre. Anyway, the other ones, as I've said, well worth a watch. A Murder in the Park, which is the Sean Reck one. The case against Adnan Syed, which is very very sad. The West Memphis 3. I can't remember what the actual documentary was called, but it was a case about them. And then there was, and it was Dr. Siltman who actually said to me, "You want to watch this Murder in the Bayou?" About the Jeff Davis 8 case. Have you watched that one? Yes. I've just had the book arrived, and I'm halfway through the book, so I'll be looking at that one. And finally, the murder of Jessica Chambers.
Yes.
Now, just before we get Jane to join us in on the chat, I did want to just ask, obviously, the crunch question. Jerome.
Yes?
Captain Crunch, is he British? The dude thinks that Captain Crunch is British. Could he possibly, in anybody's wildest fantasies, ever be considered as being British? And remember, the problem here, why I find so egregious about this is because, as Stephen Avery points out, Dean Strand, to be accused is to lose. And when Captain Crunch is being accused of being British, he's then got to try and defend himself. It's just bizarre. Jerome, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's excellent question, and we can debate hours and hours about that because it's.
Well, we should have started 2 hours ago, shouldn't we? You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a clue.
Well, okay, Tracy, have you ever heard of Captain Crunch?
I'm agree with you, Paul. Paul, I'm agree with you. Captain Crunch is American.
Well, I would put it this way: he's definitely not British, is he? He's definitely not British.
No.
And this was my big grievance when it came to the Captain Crunch trial, was the fact that the accusation from Eric Jose was that Captain Crunch was British, and I said no, he's not. So as far as I was concerned, when it came to trial, obviously the dude had to try and say that Captain Crunch is British, and I had to simply prove that he wasn't. But do you know what? We had one of the most corrupt judges the world has ever seen. This was a combination of Patrick Willis and Jerome Fox. It was called Judge Will Fox. Mark Hodinett was Judge Will Fox. And the pair of them, him and Eric Jose, they moved the goalposts deliberately at the last minute and made me try and defend that Captain Crunch was American. And yet I still managed to win. So anyway, Tracy, have you ever tried Captain Crunch? Have you ever tried Captain Crunch?
Have I what?
Sorry?
Have I tried
it's a breakfast cereal. Yes. Have you ever heard of it? And it's not here in the UK, is it? You know? That was meant to. Oh, let's click on that one. Let's click on that one. Let's click on this one.
The first time I heard it, when you were talking about it.
Yes. Yep. But as I say, these things are, you know, it's just so bizarre, you know, these people going on, you know, like Eric Jose going on and suggesting that Stephen Avery was somehow. Anyway, Mitch, sorry, we'll get to Jane in a moment. Mitch, your thoughts on Captain Crunch, nationality?
Oh, it's okay. National, I want to get it, but I will. How about that?
What was that, Mitch?
Honestly, I think we're starting to glitch up a bit. Hold on a sec. Let me just do this a minute.
Hey, there I am. No, I was there. I was going to say Captain Crunch. Okay. Can you hear me now?
No.
Yeah.
I think I got cut out.
No.
Oh, nope. Now Tracy's. Oh, okay.
Now Paul's gone.
Are we good now?
Go ahead, Mitch.
Oh, there goes Paul.
I can't
Paul's
work out.
gone again.
You can't work
Jane.
out. Hi, everyone.
Nice mask, Jane.
Hi,
I'm
Where'd you
just
get
wearing- It's because obviously my green screen and it's green. But you can see
Oh,
it
right.
again.
I'll see.
I'll take it off
Yeah.
and then I can talk.
Yeah.
Mitch
Kill
is
your
gone.
screen. Kill your screen.
Free Stephen Avery, free Brendan Dassey.
Just for a minute though,
Yeah.
because it's not a. If I do.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
I took
come
myself
back
out just for a moment to see if we could get your audio to sound a bit better. But anyway, you're back on now, so that's fine. Hi, Jane. How you doing?
Hi, Paul. I'm great. How are you?
Fine. Yes. Apparently, everybody reckons that in this mastermind, I am going to hammer you and Linda.
Maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
we shall have to wait and see, won't we?
You'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
Paul, I've put a link to Mitch's supporter video that he sent, in that group. I wasn't able to share it on my live, but I don't know if you'll be able to. So I've put the link in that group that you've just added me to.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if you can share it so everyone can see it.
I normally would, but I'm just a bit concerned because as soon as we started adding too much stuff in, Mitch's voice was lost completely and was going all gargled. So I'm not too sure.
I've shared it in all the groups. I've shared it it's in the Facebook groups now as well. So
what we'll do is we'll make a special feature of that one, Mitch, because we've got plenty. Do you know what? Do you know what it is, guys? That there's plenty of these women following the case, but there's not many of us blokes. So we've got to stick together. But don't let the girls realise. Okay, don't let the girls here. So yes, we'll find out that footage. Is it a little video that you've done, Mitch?
It is.
I'm going to find that bit and I'll highlight it. And,
you'll be able to see it in the.
I have sent you the link, Paul.
I will put it in the description along with this list of documentaries. Anyway, sorry, did we get everybody's opinion on the nationality of Captain Crunch? Jane. I've only brought you on to explain your opinion. That's all it is.
I mean,
had you even heard of Captain Crunch before he mentioned it? No.
Never had the cereal. Never heard of Captain Crunch. The only time I've ever heard of it is about when you and Eric Ozzie go at it. I'm saying it's half British, half French.
Anyway, I thought we would finish up with just a few thoughts about last year's rally. I cannot comment on the video that was done by God bless her soul, Denise, with the after party that we had, because I was absolutely 3 sheets to the wind, and I do apologise for that. But apparently, everybody had a good laugh at looking at me dancing with. I remember dancing with Ali and Denise, of course, but the rest of it, I see footage of me spilling my drink and then I'm like mopping it up and then cleaning the floor, because you want to do stuff like that when you're in somebody else's house. But have you ever seen the video of the dude making his chorizo and eggs?
Yes.
Have you ever seen that?
No. I have.
Is that how you would cut up an onion? How would you cut up an onion, Jane? Explain to me, right? Because I'm not an expert in the kitchen, as you can probably guess. Okay, I know where the fridge is. I know where the beer is. I know where the kettle is to make the coffee. The rest of it, it's a bit of a blur for me. But
now,
I mean, how would you chop an onion?
Well, I usually chop the ends off and peel the skin, then chop it in half, and then chop it again like that, and then chop it again like that, and just chop it into
chop it in half, and then chop it along its length, in effect, the half along its, and then at 90 degrees.
Again,
that's how a normal person would chop an onion. How did the dude decide to do it? Could somebody please explain to me what was his way of chopping an onion? I thought he was trying to cut his fingers off. I really did. I had visions of there being fingers in the chorizo and the eggs and like blood everywhere, because that was bizarre. And I'm thinking, why is he doing like this? Is he trying to show off just for the camera? He wouldn't do that, would he? He wouldn't do that, would he?
I'm sure it tasted nice.
Never.
I'm sure it all tasted nice. we
actually did. I think it was two videos that I did. Yes, excellent. we did a couple of videos of the dude making his chorizo and eggs, and as he does point out, I've got. Have you seen, Mitch, that thing of that somebody did for me? It was a picture of me in the kilt and Sweaty running away. You never seen that one? Somebody did that for me.
I haven't seen that one. Oh.
Oh dear.
Free Stephen, free Brendan, arrest Kratz. Would you like me a little prop?
Yes.
Yes.
Pinch it off my children.
Oh.
Jerome, William has a question for you. Are you the man that's the expert in the kitchen? I'm certainly not the man that's the expert in the kitchen.
Yes.
You're the expert.
Yes, because I cook and I have work in a restaurant. Yeah.
Oh, right. So how would you chop an onion?
Like this. I will show you.
Yep.
You have your onion, okay? You need to put your finger like this.
Yep.
Like this. You don't cut you. If you
there you go.
That's a chef. That's the way the chefs do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like this. And
Is that once you've chopped it in half, though, Jerome?
it's like that.
Would you chop it in half first? Would you chop it in half first? Cut it in half? So that it's flat on the board?
Yeah. You cut in two, and after you start to cut like that.
Yeah.
It's simple. Isn't it, dude?
Yes, absolutely. This is precisely why the dude has to arrive. Yes.
And the dude arrived.
The dude arrives. Yes, I did a picture of that because it was funny because I arrived late. When everybody from outside the courthouse, we decided last year we actually finished an hour early because it was a cold day and it started raining. So we all headed back actually to the salvage yard a bit earlier. You know, I mean, it was that cold. I was actually taking. Hold on a sec. I was actually taking people round in my car that I'd got. I was taking them round so that they could warm up, and it was great fun because I had Carla next to me one time, and every time we drove around the courthouse, we were honking on the horn, you know, so that all everybody got revved up, you know, and then after a couple of laps with Carla, I managed to get Sandy to join me in the car, and we did the same thing and went around honking on the horn. It was absolutely brilliant, you know. So
and I do excellent pizza.
Pizza, yeah. Do you use normal? Everybody, what everybody would consider to be, smoked sausage, or does it have to be chorizo? I mean, what's with this chorizo? Is chorizo anything better than anything different from normal pepperoni? No.
Pepperoni. It's in Belgium. Pepperoni. It's not. It's not the same thing. It's not a meat. Pepperoni. It's a piment in Belgium.
Right.
If you want to talk, about what you put on the pizza, the salami, or I don't know.
Salami. Yeah.
Here in Belgium, there is a lot, big, huge community of Italian people. So.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, and so we eat really good pizza, but I don't know pizza with smoking sausage or smoking flavor. There is one pizza. This is one exotic pizza on Pizza Hut, but it's not from a real pizza maker, no, I've never eat a pizza with smoked flavor,
Okay.
flavor and pepperoni like I've saw. No.
Okay. Finally, then, Tracy, thanks for rejoining us. The current question, most important question of all: how exactly does one cut an onion, chop an onion? Would you deliberately try and do it in such a way that you would sever off the ends of your fingers? I don't think so. You wouldn't do that, would you? No. It's just if you watch the dude trying to cut up an onion, you honestly you will be alarmed. It is quite a sight to see the dude chopping up his onion. He is supposed to be joining us. I see he's not in the chat anymore. I sent him the link. Who is the dude? Who is the dude? Well, that comes. We were talking about things that you might have seen. Has anybody here seen The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
Hands up if you've seen The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mitch? Yeah. Tracy?
What was that? Sorry, there's somebody at the door.
Ever seen The Big Lebowski? No. Jane?
No.
It's a right blokes movie. If there are such things as chick flicks, then this is the film for the blokes. Okay, it's called The Big Lebowski, and the dude was supposed to be coming here, so I don't know where he's got to. Let me just send him a message. I don't understand this. He sent me the message saying I'm ready to come on, and then where is he?
He was in the chat.
I know he was there. But...
Love it, Jerome. Love it.
There is, dude. It's up above in the chat. Oh, for goodness sake, let me do this.
Do you want me to send it to him?
Oh, I will. No, I will do it while you explain about how. Please, ladies, please explain how one should cut up an onion or a sausage or whatever.
I think I did.
Captain Cred.
StreamYard. There we go. StreamYard. Hold on a second. Let's do this. Is he there? Is he there yet? No. Invite.
I've sent it.
Yes. Where did you send it to?
Into our group, into our rally group.
Right, I've sent it to him because he's put link and he's put link again, and then he's put there is no effing link.
No, there isn't. That's why I couldn't find yours. I was like, "Where's Paul's link?" That's why I asked on the chat.
Oh dear. Where is he? Where on earth has he got to?
Where is he?
There he is.
Did you recognize him?
Jose.
No, I don't recognize him. Where are you, dude? Where are you?
Did you guys see Daniel Holtzclaw over the live chat?
Yes.
Minutes ago?
That's Daniel's sister, isn't it?
Yep.
That's Daniel's sister, Jenny, yes.
Now, I want to ask you a question about Daniel Holtzclaw. Who was one of his attorneys?
I'm sorry?
Who was one of his attorneys and had to concentrate on Stephen Avery's case?
Kathleen Zellner.
Yeah, Kathleen Zellner. I think it's important to point out that Kathleen Zellner, was Daniel Holtzclaw's attorney, and then had to leave that case. But she made it absolutely clear it's not because she didn't think that Daniel is 100% innocent. It was just the fact that she needed to concentrate on the obviously Stephen Avery case. So now I think it's somebody local to Daniel that's actually involved in that. But if you notice when she tweets, she often does tweet about Daniel Holtzclaw, doesn't she? Am I right about that, dude?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
How you doing?
Sorry, give me a second.
You
I'm
there?
switching from my phone to my computer.
Oh, go on then, you flash what's it.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Dr. Pepper.
Yes. Where's yes, where is that banner? Just I know I'm gonna have to give Jane a couple of minutes to finish up and say bonsoir, etc., to all the people that have tuned in. But I would just like to make this appeal on behalf of the dude that have tuned in. But I would just like to make this appeal.
Sorry, hold on. One more thing I got to do here. There we go. Okay.
The dude is in the place.
All right, here I am. Okay, so yes, Kathleen
The dude
Zellner
arrives.
was on as one of the lawyers in the civil suits that are coming against Daniel Holtzclaw.
Yeah.
All of the accusers are now basically trying to sue for buku bucks and get their payday out of what happened. But those of you who review the case, you'll understand that there are issues from the word go in Daniel's case. But the detectives, a lot like Wiegert and Fassbender, had an agenda, and they ignored. You see these common themes run through wrongful convictions. They ignored the obvious proof of Daniel's innocence, and they embraced anything that they felt suggested Daniel's guilt. And they had a lot of confirmation bias, a lot of things going on in that case that really just brings to a T and puts in sharp relief all the things that go into making wrongful convictions happen. And hopefully our court systems are going to start to realize this soon.
Sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but I just had the countdown for the mastermind.
Yes.
That's what
I'm going to give you the last minute or so just to say, cheerio to everybody, and whatever you need to say, and then
well, basically, yeah. I mean, thank you for everyone. Thank you for having me on, Paul. It's nice to see you all, Jerome, Mitch, and Tracy, Eric Ozee.
Thank you. Thank
you to everybody
Thank
in
you.
the chat. Thank you to everybody who sent in supporter videos and emails. We are sharing them on Facebook and Twitter. They are all out there. They're all on Facebook. They are all.
We see the moon. We see the moon.
Just so I can go get this guy.
Dude, you crack me up.
Oh, God.
You crack me up, dude.
Dude's got a Captain Crunch doll.
I know what you mean too, obviously, because I had to go get Captain.
He's got a Captain Crunch guy. Hold him up here.
So, yeah, just thank you to everybody, and it's been great so far. We've still got coming up. We've got the mastermind special after this. Then we've got Linda, and then Eric Ozee will be closing with his segment. So still plenty more to look forward to.
Okay. See you everybody at the live chat on the mastermind. It's coming up right now. Bye everyone. Bye.
Don't forget to
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Bye, Tracy.
Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you,
Jerome.
Paul. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you, Captain
Tracy.
Crunch.